All right, welcome to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I am your host, and in front of me is my good friend, Calvin McGowan. Go ahead and tell the people about yourself, Calvin.
What's up, everybody? I'm back per usual. I've watched some games. Most of them weren't that interesting, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. Uh, Calvin, I feel like the people should know you by
I'd hope so.
now. But today's episode is gonna be a little bit different. Different. As you guys know, I am a scout and a high school basketball writer. So, as we're gonna talk about high school basketball, and our biggest topic for today is Sunrise Christian finally taking out Montverde, which is their. I think the boys that are there now, this is their first loss in 2 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Like it's been like since 2019, and it's not like this is like a 20 game stretch because of like COVID. No, this is like almost 50 games that they've won in a row, right?
Something like that, yeah. Because I know they're saying they were undefeated last season.
Yeah. And I think their last loss was like in November of 2019.
That's absolutely wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially for like a high school team who's playing the best of the best of the best. And it just so happens that the best of the best of the best played the best point guard in the nation in Kennedy Chandler. And um, they had no answers for him, especially down in the fourth quarter. Like I kid you not, from midway fourth quarter, actually I think it's midway through the third quarter to overtime. That's when Kennedy Chandler decided like he wasn't going to lose this game. And like for a dude who's already a really good point guard, it was almost obvious that he was like, no, I'm gonna beat these dudes now.
Yeah, and but it's like so one of the I think I was saying to you before like we got started, like I felt like from like a scoring standpoint, I think it was the first game that I feel like I've looked at with him that looked kind of like it was a bad game and that like he missed a lot of shots. He missed a couple of layups. I think most of those ended up being put back um, by Kendall Brown, I think.
Yeah,
But um, like Mount Verde had, that suffocating defense um, on them most of the game, and it was like some of the stuff I've seen like he probably needs to improve on, like I don't know, a bit better about ball handling. Um, that stuff came up. It also like it's hard to get assists when like the player movement you're used to isn't there, when you can't get those fast breaks, like when your team's not getting those fast breaks like you usually do. Um, like they still found ways to be effective, and like he did ultimately kind of put the team on his back, found dudes open and was able to like create some things. But that defense gave him a lot of problems. It gave his team a lot of problems for most of the game. But what matters from like if you're like coaching or whatever, ultimately it's like, yeah, they gave us fit for 3 quarters, but like we won.
exactly. But no, man. One of the things I love so much about Kennedy Chandler's game is you can obviously tell that Sunrise Christian has an offense and that Kennedy Chandler has an offense. And Kennedy Chandler is so nice with the offense that he wants to run that it works perfectly with Sunrise Christian. Like during the last event that they had, I guess was it the Montverde Academy
Hmm.
Invitational that they had
Yeah.
down there.
Hmm.
There were so many plays where he was just able to find trailers. It's usually Zach Clements who's going to Kansas, and he finds them on like cuts that are almost obvious plays, but the way he sets it up to make sure that person gets it, like he'll slow down fast breaks, like where it's literally like him and one other dude, and he'll slow it down so whatever teammate is running behind him can just dunk on the other dude. Like, and he hits that pass so often. It's weird the way he was dragging Montvert's defense around in that fourth quarter, making shots, getting to the lane anytime he wanted. That kid's special. I don't I don't think there's a better point guard in the nation. Like,
There probably isn't, honestly. Because like what he does really well. He's good at finding the open man. He can make some very impressive passes. He made some impressive passes. He made some of which didn't directly lead to assists.
mm-hmm.
I think there was one he passed it to, who was it, Grady Dick, I think.
Yeah, and then Dick got the
And
assist.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
yeah,
one baseline. I know what you're talking about. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
not.
yeah. And like it's like his court vision and his passing, like by itself starts opening things up, and a lot of times he just kind of, in general, he kind of just he tries to find his stuff in the flow of the offense. So like but in that game, for example, he like I think he had kind of pressed the issue a little more. It seemed like they ran a more pick and roll, him driving into the lane and such. But in general, when you aren't playing the best team in the country, playing suffocating defense for what 35 out of 40 minutes, like, and like your teammates are moving, if a teammate's open, he'll probably find them.
Yeah,
And like that, having that I think is special, but also like just as I mentioned, the way he plays, it's very it's very big on kind like it can be kind of detail oriented, like small things.
super small things, and they always work out. Like, always work out for the kid, bro. And I almost love it
It,
more when he's in like a scoring mentality, because he'll spend like the first half just setting everybody up without pressing the issue like he did in this game, because he only had 2 points, and like you were saying, the defense was killing him. He only shot 1 for 5 from the field, but like I also don't think he had any turnovers. Like, he had one turnover
that wouldn't surprise
the
me at
entire
all.
game. He had one turnover the entire game. Like, to 6 assists against a team that I believe has two dudes that could get G League contracts if they were coming out of 2021 class this year, and they're still juniors. Between Dariq Whitehead, who didn't have that good of a game, and Jalen Duran, who they kind of kept under wraps too.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm I don't know. I'm still not like if we're talking about like Montverde players for a second. I still don't quite see it with what's it, Caleb Houstan. Like
Yes.
it's not even like I can't just sit here and be like, oh, he doesn't necessarily deserve whatever ranking he got. It's just like I don't know. It's just like I watch like when at least in fairness I haven't just like honed in on him like that. But it's like watching him, like I don't see anything that's just like, yeah, that's kind of amazing. Like this makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Uh, what I can tell you about Caleb Houstan is it's one of those dudes where you gotta. It takes a couple games for you to get it. Because I was watching during the St. James Invitational. When I was watching him, like the first 2 games, I was like, "Oh, you're 6'9" and you can shoot. Okay, I get it." But he's 6'9", he can shoot. When he decides to take you off the dribble, like, he's going to get in the paint because he's big. He's like big and mobile. So like he occasionally he has the burst to beat you off the dribble, and then because he is like physically bigger than you, he can just bump your shoulder and you get out the way. And when he gets to the paint, he's still got really good touch, so he can hit you with a floater. But the most likely thing is he's going to look for an assist, and he's a really decent passer. Uh, he doesn't dribble often, but the handle's not bad. Because he is like 6'8", 6'9", he is super versatile on defense. Like, there's many times during like Montverde games where he's guarding 2 through 4, occasionally the 5, but it's not very long. I think uh, he might have guarded Felix Akpara during the St. James Invitational. I don't really remember, But it's a complete package with him. Like,
Okay.
I saw people like ESPN's player projection was like Paul George. I don't see it. There's much more defense. There's much more athleticism and probably defense that you want from someone you're comparing to Paul George. But at 6'8", 6'9", will not be a liability on either side of the court. Consistently shoots the ball and has the versatility for a 6'8" wing forward. Like, nah, but he's gonna be a bit of a problem, especially when the floor is more spaced out in college. Like, yeah, we gonna see something. If anything, the things that's gonna come back and bite him is that it's just he's not super athletic. Like, he has decent feet speed, but if we're talking about like elite wings at the college level, I think most of them probably are going to take him around the block at least that first year. But I could really see him messing around and being like a first round pick after his freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I also kind of like Kendall Brown after like having gotten to see him sunrise.
Did you watch the Kendall Brown game where Kennedy Chandler didn't play against Calvary?
Mm-mm.
All right. So there is a lot of like good takeaways from that game. Like the players who were supposed to play big without Kennedy Chandler did it. Willie Lightfoot, who I'll probably get into later, Willie Lightfoot was amazing as far as I'm concerned. Like that is most like a point guard that I feel like I've seen him play in about like the 8 games that I've watched of him. Um, like he's normally a really good shooter. This time he just kind of stepped into the pure point guard role. Um, had 8 assists, really controlled the pace and whatnot during pick and roll. Like he did a really good job of getting people stuck on his back during all of like the scramble. He's really good, and he's also over the last 11 games, he's shooting 59% from 3 on 3 attempts a game. And it's not like it's catch and shoot threes. Most of his threes are like off the dribble. Like he'll hit you with a move step back 3. Like and when you look at like his volume, like it's kind of sporadic. Like he had one game where it's like 4 of 6, and then a couple games where he only shot like 1 or 2 threes. But no, I really like him. I wish he had like a bigger role. I can't wait to see what it is next year. And then Kendall Brown. Kendall Brown, I really like, especially in that game. He was aggressive. I still don't think he's much of a self-creator at this point. Like, I don't think the handle is there, but he's so athletic that he doesn't have to dribble at this point. Like, he just has to cut and, like, take one dribble and get to the lane. What are you going to do? I'm 6'8", and I'm probably one of the better athletes in all of high school sports. It's not going to be much that you can do. In this game, he was like a really excellent cutter. Anytime somebody got in the lane, he was trailing right behind him, and he dunked it every single time. Like he's just like a really good athlete at this point. Like there's other stuff that helps, especially in like the defensive end, but that athleticism is nuts.
Like I think the thing with it, at least kind of thinking about some of the games I've seen, is like it's like while most of this game kind of is about like his athleticism or take over, like he's it's not like he's dumb with it. Like it's not like he's just running around trying to do something. Like he's kind of figured out, okay, this is how I can maximize, the fact that like I can like jump out of the gym and I'm kind of strong. Like in the Montverde game, there was a dunk he had that was just, it was wild, right? Um, that and also, I guess mention a couple of like, tip in, just like he's good at taking advantage of his athleticism, and it's like so that was like okay, the idea that 5-star, like make some sense. And like because like if you have the athleticism and you're already kind of smart about how you play the game, the rest of it should start to come.
Exactly.
And when it does, he's gonna be a problem.
He really is. There's something about guys who go to Baylor that I always kind of like keep an eye on them, mainly because like I'm in the Big 12. Is it Big 12?
Yeah, I'm
Big
pretty
12
sure it's Big
conference?
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm Big 12 country like my entire life. So like certain schools down here, like I always kind of I'm interested in the recruiting. And dude, what Baylor has coming in between him and Langston Love, issues. Issues. Especially that Langston Love. That boy gonna be a problem in college. Bro, he's such a surgical. Like he just knows how to get it, and he's stronger than you. So if you want to step up, cool. You're just gonna get one of these giant ham hock size shoulders in your chest. I love it. Another dude who did really good in that Sunrise game was Grady Dick.
Mm-hmm.
Grady Dick probably had like 20 something in that game without let me pull up the stats to make sure, but I believe he had like 20 something. All of the things that are kind of in his scouting report, he did them all in that game. Like he he was kind of like a pseudo ball handler without Kennedy Chandler on the floor. So like that pass that we saw him make from Kennedy Chandler, like he did that. It wasn't like it's not like a big assist game. He finished the game with 16 points and 1 assist, but he just looked smart. You could see all of the athleticism. He was 3 for 3 from 3-point shooting, and that's one of his things. 6'6" athletic shooter, and he absolutely showed all of that with the rebounding. He played really good defense. He got a steal. I'm just really impressed by Buddy. And then Kendall Brown having the complete game at the same time, having 14 of his own, got a steal, 2 blocks, 5 assists with 0 turnovers. So sneaky passing from the Baylor commit, 5 rebounds, hit all of his free throws. Still can't shoot threes for real. He missed both of those attempts. But again, 5 of 10 from the field. Super efficient play. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you catch any other games? Any people in particular you want to talk about?
That was the only high school one I just sat and watched. And like I mentioned to you, like I didn't end up watching the Ole Miss game, the Ole Miss and Tennessee game, but Ole Miss won somehow. Like I'm gonna pretend it makes sense. But like I watched Phoenix, like the Suns and the Pelicans, and like it was kind of a boring game because like the Pelicans were in control pretty much the whole way, and like I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping for a better game because like Zion Williamson was there, was in and healthy, and the Suns have Chris Paul and Devin Booker and like their whole crew. So like I looked at them like this should be an entertaining game. And it's just like it was like New Orleans was basically in complete control the whole time. It was just kind of like this was disappointing. Um, what I caught South Carolina's women against Auburn's women. I didn't know Auburn's women weren't any good. I would have watched. No, it's just like they had like I think there was like they I don't think they won a game in conference. Um,
Mm.
I didn't know that going in. I'm like, this ought to be decent. No, it was not. Like, I tuned in at like halftime, and it's just like, well, that was a waste of time, and I just got here. Like, it's just like you turn on, you hope for an entertaining game, but like you turn and like one team is already down by like 30 at the half, and it's just like why am I gonna finish watching this? it was lopsided. Like I think the final score looks a little closer than that, but like it was it South Carolina ran away with it long before I showed up. Um, and then I caught what Golden State and the Mavericks. Mavericks won. The Mavericks were also kind of in control the whole way, and like Steph put on a show. But I don't know. I like it. Maybe it's just me, and I'm just like, I like a game that's close, tug and pull and whatever. And it's just like you put up like I think he almost put up like 50 or something.
You talking about Steph,
Steph,
right?
yeah,
He had 53, bro. He
yeah.
finished the game with 53.
It's like, yeah, but it's just like if if memory serves, and maybe like I just wasn't zoned in like I should have been. Like the Mavericks were kind like most of when I turned, like the Mavericks were kind of in control most of the way.
Yeah.
Um, and like I don't know, it was kind of disappointing. Like good for the Mavs. I want to think they currently have a losing record. Do they still have it? Yeah, like so like good for y'all. Trying to climb your way back in like playoff contention or what have you. But I like closer games. I like games that feel more competitive.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Also apparently, the Nets in Detroit, not the Nets. Um, Detroit and the Knicks are gonna do a trade for. I think they're apparently gonna trade um
Dennis Smith Jr. and
Dennis Smith Jr. and Derrick Rose.
that's nice. Like I'm happy for Derrick Rose. I really am. Like that's the bright side. He gets to go play under the coach that almost ground his knees to dust the first time. Like I hate saying it, but like I'm glad that comes back, and I hope they continue to have an amicable relationship because this Knicks team is surprisingly good, and I can't believe I'm saying this just based off what I've been saying on this podcast for years. I kind of hope they make the playoffs. Like even if it's like a eighth seed, like if it's an eighth seed and they got to play like the 76ers, or if like somehow the Nets get it and either one of them just go ahead and drum them like 4-1 and be nice, uh like that would make me happy. It really would. But it's about time the Knicks do something for the NBA outside of being there. They can go ahead and act like they want to make the playoffs, actually do it, and then try a little bit. Because I have not seen RJ Barrett play basketball since he's went to Duke, and I would like to see him play basketball again, just to kind of like see what is all going on with RJ Barrett.
I mean, if nothing else, they did make it possible for the Nets to be good by being so trash that nobody wanted to play with for them. So
That would be like what 30 years of undoing stuff for that to like really matter for like our generation, wouldn't it?
like, I mean, I'm just saying they've been trash. They've been trash. Actually, I'm pretty sure. But never mind. I feel like we talked about this. They've basically been trash since Ewing left or retired or whatever. And it's just except for those 2 good years with Melo. Well, really, it was like 1.5.
Exactly.
But
Oh, keep talking, bro. I'm about to look up to see um, when Melo made the playoffs with the Knicks, what seed they were, because I cannot see them as anything higher than like a 4 seed. Like I
I
really
think
can't envision
I
them
think that
anything
first
higher
year
than
they did fairly well. I don't know about like that second year was yeah.
that.
Um, but as far also KD got pulled from that last game because of COVID testing stuff. Like somebody was around and like tested positive or something. And so like first they pulled him, then they let him play. Then like they came the positive test came back and they pulled him again. and his streak of most games with 10 or more points came to an end, which I think it was like I think that this point it was some insane number of games, basically his entire career.
Nuts.
Yeah. And they of course lost to the 76ers. Let me pull up the recent string. Yeah, they lost to 76ers and they lost to the Raptors in a back to back, which that had to be fun. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
I mean, like it's one of also they apparently going to sign Noah Vonleh, however
Oh,
that's pronounced.
Noah Vonleh?
Yeah, Vonleh, my bad.
Wait, who is?
The Nets,
The Nets?
the Nets.
Noah Vonleh. Oh, why they get Noah Vonleh? I know that's like the one of the only available bigs, but why Noah Vonleh? Like you don't even do nothing. Do we punch people? At least like go get Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis at least break somebody's jaw. You want to get this?
Well, I mean, like consider right. For some reason, there's some like, of course, there's some contingent of NBA and/or Nets fans or KD fans, what have you, who like are apparently hoping that like the Cavs buy out players they have no incentive to like buy out or waive or release or whatever. And like because they traded for Harden, they have nothing else. Like there's nothing else of value there that they would be willing to move. Like they're not about to move KD, not about to move Harden. They're probably not about to move Kyrie. And like I don't think anybody wants Jordan for real. And like even if they did, like apparently he got like he's kind of just part of the deal of like having KD and Kyrie there. Um,
Hey, whoever the owner of the Nets is just mad every time you got to sign DeAndre Jordan's check. You don't even do nothing.
I
You just out
mean,
here tall.
yeah, but like look at it this way: it keeps the dudes you actually care about happy. You'll be okay.
No, they can be happy without you. I've seen them do it before.
Um, but like but if they're not in a position to make a trade for real, of course they'd have to trade for Portis. Um, like no one's about to buy out like good bigs for no reason, right? Um,
So you get
and
no.
of course, if you're the rest of the league, you don't want the Nets to get mediocre defense, like, because then what are you gonna do? Like, that's just
You get Bobby Portis. Go out there and break some jaws, buddy.
yeah, but like you have to wait until like the fourth quarter for him to do that, so he does something beforehand.
I mean, technically speaking, he broke that man's jaw in
Practice, I
practice.
think. Yeah,
So if we could just schedule some time where you're outside with the other team's players, we can get that. We can get that worked out, right?
you basically just want him to roll up on somebody and start a fight.
We got to have an enforcer. It's not going to be Kevin Durant.
But like, I mean,
DeAndre
seriousness
Jordan
though,
not doing nothing. You know he not getting off the bench.
like, but like, I guess they're supposedly about to sign Vonleh, Vonleh because like they need big men and they need defense because they basically have neither except for Jordan and he barely counts anymore for one of those. Um, so like they got to do something, and like they're just sitting on roster spots and cap space. Well, not cap space, but like except like trade exceptions. Um, but of course, if I'm the rest of the league, you probably don't trade with them just because like Again, you don't want them getting mediocre defense, but that also assumes they have anything you want to begin with. Which, outside of the dudes that they're not about to move anyway, they probably don't, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, like, if nothing else, he's an upgrade over, like, an empty roster spot. Maybe.
That's very true. That's very true. Always better than nothing. Speaking of always better than nothing, let's talk about Noah Vonleh's stats.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Noah Vonleh. I got to start it off by saying this. This is how you know the Nets are in a rough spot, because this is a guy that Jordan drafted, and this is a forward / center that Jordan drafted. So that means not much has came of this man's career, and that's probably to no fault of his own. He did play with the Charlotte Hornets for at least 4 seasons. But to get into his stats, his career high, I'm going to be nice and round up, 7 points per game.
Okay.
He did that with, while he was with Chicago for, 21 games. I'm impressed. He has played 6 seasons in the NBA, and he has played for 6 teams in the NBA. Because, like, stuff got really rocky after that third year in wait, no. Does Portland had him for 3 years? So this is POR. This is POR.
That's Portland.
When did this man get to Portland?
Look, I don't know. He got drafted, and then, like, he's one of them dudes who gets drafted and you never hear about them again.
Son, they traded that man like after his rookie year. How did I forget this?
Because you can't forget what you never remember.
That's so true. Because something told me to stop watching his career after he got drafted by the Hornets. Because the Hornets, they don't believe in, like, making sure their players are good or whatever. Like, they don't draft nothing but role players. Except, like, recently. But that doesn't count. Because it's just LaMelo.
Well, hasn't Washington been good?
I said what I said.
Hey.
In it's no offense, he's only a rookie. I mean, he just got off his rookie year. So at this point, I believe he is a role player. He's a high level role player. That's what he showed as a rookie. I don't know if that's a star. Maybe that could turn into a superstar role player. But today, we're looking at a high level role player. That is not a star.
Yeah, there are worse things to be.
Oh, of course. I'm looking at the page for Noah Vonleh right now. That's all I gotta say. So it is worse things. It is worse things to be. But Noah Vonleh played 3 seasons with the Portland Trailblazers, and I had literally no idea.
Well,
he's also older than me, so that makes me feel a little bit better about myself. 25 and a millionaire. I trade live. And he's 6'10".
I mean, look at it this way, though. Even with Vonleh, it's like, at least you're not Anthony Bennett.
I mean, more people would know your name if you're Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, but not for reasons you want them to know it.
Why do you know Noah Vonleh's name?
I don't know, because I think I remember, like I said, I think I vaguely remember him getting drafted, and, like, he was solid in college.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
He's decent at Indiana. I just knew it wasn't gonna last because he got drafted by the Hornets. I'm never gonna get off Michael Jordan and how bad his drafting is. He should be glad LaMelo was in this draft because he was gonna find a way to mess this up again.
Okay, I'm probably mixing up phrases and statements or whatever, but what's that phrase? Those who can't do teach. And, like, a problem with, like, a Jordan is that, like, you did it at really, really high level. So now you don't have patience for other people who can, in general. Unless, you punch them in the face after, like, they don't fold when you yell at them. But that's another thing entirely.
I heard Jordan out here playing these dudes 1-on-1. He need to punch somebody in the face. Just see
I
what
don't
can
know.
happen, bro. If you get a lawsuit, you a billionaire. You fine. You fine.
But like, if he's just out here being super impatient about this stuff, because like the thing is, when you're a player, like how like the exact things that like the front office does, probably like not that they don't concern you, but like they're like it's not your job. It's not what you need to be worrying about.
Yeah.
And like I like there's just more patience in a more indirect way. Like you can't draft a kid and then like wonder why he's not putting up 20 a night like you did coming out. Like most dudes don't do that. Um, but maybe one day Jordan will like get lucky or like let the dudes he hires do their job. Um, and like the Hornets, who are really the Bobcats, will like not be terrible anymore.
They really changed that name. I hope we would forget. No, Bobcats.
Like no one forgot. We just let it ride after a while.
Look, one of the worst franchises, one of the worst logos, and somehow still better jerseys than the Wizards.
Eh, hmm.
Even
I,
those gray awful ones where they just had the orange cat in the Bobcat letters, those are better than those gold hamburger Happy Meal ass jerseys that the Wizards were wearing in the 2000s.
hold up. Well, I might get okay. Well, I mean, I'll give you those particular jerseys, but like I I don't know. I think I'd kind of prefer the current Wizards jerseys to like the current Hornets jersey.
Oh, I agree with you there.
Okay.
I'm just talking about those awful gold and brown jerseys in particular. Uh,
Um.
I think I got one more thing for us.
All
Uh,
right.
you remember last episode how I said the Raptors are making me look bad?
Mhm.
They the 6th seed now, so they trying to tighten up a little bit. Did you see that the thing on Bleacher Report where they're talking about trading Kyle Lowry?
Oh well, I
Like,
didn't see it on Bleacher Report, but I saw something about it. Like, yeah, they're thinking about trading Lowry.
imagine being the human in the room for the Raptors, who's like, we got to get rid of our best player in franchise history.
Like, and like what gets me about it though, right, is just it's not even like because like when like Memphis, ended up trading Gasol and like Conley, after like really long after like grit and grind era and its true form had kind of like gone away anyway. Um, but like I feel like for the like even with that, like I feel like part like it was one of them things where it's just kind of like it's probably the best. Like in the case of like Memphis, it's kind of like it's point. It's like it's kind of best. Like it's arguably best for all parties involved from a like career-ish standpoint, right? Because like realistically, Conley and Gasol probably weren't about to win in Memphis. Not because like they weren't good enough players, but because like there wasn't the stuff around them and there wasn't the time to build it for real. Um, so like you trade Gasol to Toronto and he gets his chip and like has little videos where he's clearly not sober after and but let him enjoy himself. But like he got that like you trade him to Toronto and like he gets his ring. You trade Conley to the Jazz because like he's got a better chance of getting a ring there, right? And second year at the Jazz, he's playing really good basketball. And put themselves in a good position. How they'll do in the playoffs is a whole separate thing. But right now, everything is good. Like you're gonna have to figure out an answer for the Lakers, but they can deal. You cross that bridge when you get there. Um, but like with Lowry, it's just like it's just like he has a ring with y'all, and like he's arguably your best player, like your greatest. I'm necessarily gonna say your best, but your greatest player in franchise history, right? Um, and there, like if he wants to be there, you can let him. Like he's done everything. Like he's probably like he's not gonna get an MVP, and that's okay, right? He's got what a couple of All-Star appearances, probably a couple All NBAs. Like he's good. He can retire. Like if he just wants to retire with y'all, you should let him, right?
Even if that means you
Um,
got to pay this man for 7 more years. He is not DeAndre Jordan.
and
Treat him
you like
nicely.
yeah, like if you just like long as in fairness, like I wouldn't do it if like you have to do like you pay him like they did Kobe at the end of his career, like because that just kind of nah. But otherwise, like you read a reasonable contract here as long as you want to be here. Shoot, semi-reasonable contract here as long as you want to be here. We just need to be able to like start stuff up while you're still here.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it also just kind of illustrates how kind of cold I guess the business of the NBA is. Whether or not it's always been that way, we can kind of like I feel like in general, until I don't know the last two 6 or 7 years or so, like you don't question like there'd be no talk about trading Lowry, like a dude who's like Lowry, right? From like great like one of the greatest players in franchise history, got a ring, got his individual award. Like nah, if he wants to be there, you let him retire pretty much. But like you, you have it's like I guess the whole loyalty thing is a two-way street. It's like players are less loyal because the organizations weren't
Mhm.
right. It's just like you saw how like everyone saw how they did Isaiah Thomas, how Danny Ainge did Isaiah Thomas, and it's just like and like Hardy's like Ainge is a decent like he's a good GM, but he's a terrible person. In fairness, like he's been that way for a long time now. You don't get your jaw broken by like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and like be cool, like um but like it's I don't know. I feel like it's something like it might happen. Like the thing is that of course like there are gonna be people who are gonna offer like because like he's a good player, he can contribute. So if they're like they decide we're gonna trade him, like there's a return to be had. But it's just I don't like I don't think they should. If for no other reason, like stick by someone who's like just yeah. If that makes it's just like just a little loyalty can like people appreciate that now. People remember. People tell people.
Exactly. I got a question for you. Who do you think was more likely to say, maybe we need to go ahead and let Kyrie go? In a younger person who's in the front office or an older person that's in the front office? And I mean that almost not by age, but as like regimes.
Right.
Like you think it's an older dude or is a younger dude?
Um, that's that's a good question. Because like some of it would probably depend on the dude in question, right? Because like my first instinct was to say like younger, right? Because like there are a lot of people who are very much into like analytics and like people, close to our age, the whole like remember the whole process thing, which was god awful to sit through. But like it occurs to me like we were really like doing the podcast, like it'd give us plenty to talk about. But I mean it
That
was a dumpster
2012
fire,
season.
but it was hmm,
That 2012 season.
like yeah, it was just like it was intentionally terrible basketball, right? Um, and like I think actually to think about it, some of the whole analytics thing, especially like if you go more extreme with some of that stuff, gets you so like gets you some of these like results in like almost quasi experimental type situations playing out in real life, like the process and whatever the hell's going on in Brooklyn. Like because like I feel like if with like if you have somebody who's more in fairness, like I think with Brooklyn, part of that was just like they had no idea what was going on with Kyrie, and got scared. Um, and so worked away their future. But we don't need the. It's like the Nets get 2 decent years and then garbage for the next decade. It is what it is. It wouldn't be the first time,
Exactly.
but uh, like I feel like if you come in with that like super analytics thought process and like everything is just numbers and there's no and like like whatever you call like the strategy. If you're not taking three, like every shot should be a three or a layup or whatever. Like you're gonna like that kind of approach will I think result in more cutthroaty, colder decisions. Like it is like contemplating trading Lowry. It's not the only thing that could get you there, but I think it would probably get you there. But also when I when I say it also depends like with an older person though, it might just be um like again depending on people like you could just get an older GM or front office person who's just I don't know just kind of a meaner more cutthroat human being and they're like and they look and like they're like realistically we don't have a shot at a title as though like every team needs a shot at a title every year or like they should blow it up, which is something I've seen and is a really weird take to me because like one if it's title or bust every single year that would lead to some god awful basketball. Um, but like, but if you take that, like some sort of like we're clearly not about to compete for a title, probably not here in like a little while. You know what we should do? We should trade Lowry while he still has some value. You know, because and it's just like, and with that it's like I get it, but it's also like he got you all this stuff. Like you already did some super cutthroat stuff when you traded
DeMar DeRozan.
when you traded DeRozan. Um, and it's like it got you a ring, cut it kind of close a couple times, but it got you a ring. Um, I mean, you also fired the coach of the year, but but that's none of my business. Um, but it's just like it's just one of like you have. I feel like to contemplate it with like someone like Lowry in particular, like a Lowry, or like granted, LeBron was never fortunate enough to be in this type of situation, but like a LeBron, um, like it takes a certain kind of cold, like you need a certain amount of cold, like heartlessness with your stuff, and I don't know, maybe that's just kind of like like someone who comes in with more of a business background or like pure numbers background or something to be a bit more cutthroat about stuff than you necessarily need to. Um, but like if you have that coldness there, regardless of the age of the person or the generation, like it's going to lead to conversations like that because you're gonna get somebody who's just like who looks at everything in like a zero sum kind of way. I think that's a good way of putting it. Like all or not, you either win or you lose. There's no like middle ground, and they're just like, well, since we're not winning, we're clearly losing. Time to blow it up and start the process. Because like that's kind of what you do when you're like we should start the rebuild in order. It's like time to start the process. Like time to suck for the next 3 years. And like I mean it kind of worked out for Philly, kind of, but like they still don't have rings yet. Like fairness, those players hopefully find themselves with a ring here before too long, but like they don't currently have a ring, and like the GM was still pretty good about drafting because like you could get number one picks from now until like I don't know, and like you still have a trash team. Look at the Timberwolves.
I want to
So
stop looking at the Timberwolves. That is, God, that's confusing. Like I know they're being bad on purpose for that top 3 pick, but everything in me, like everything in me knows that that pick is going to Golden State, and we're going to have to watch Golden State be good again. Like,
well, haven't they been pretty decent this year? Like after the initial dumpster fire that was the start of their season.
You talking about the Timberwolves?
No. Golden State.
Golden State has the Timberwolves 2021 pick, so they're going to be good this year. But they're
Oh,
also
okay.
going to get the top 3 pick.
Oh, okay.
I don't think people
Why did they
realize
do that?
What'd you say?
Why did they do that?
So the pick is top 3 protected. So I think they knew they were going to be so bad that they're going to be in the running for like a high seed. But the way that the NBA kind of has the draft lottery situated, I don't got no faith in them staying top 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what that would give Golden State the 4th pick.
I'm seeing like G League dudes, and I'm looking at like these mock drafts. If they get the 4th pick, we're going to have to look at them for like another 10 years. And they've done enough to me, Calvin. Like, you took KD, you won titles, and you changed the game all the way. And on top of that, you don't even dunk that often. Like at least be fun. Like you got Steph, you got Clay, but I also haven't seen them to play for real. Like last season, and then now we get Steph going crazy, and I'm not interested in that for real. Like I like Steph, I really do. He's fun to watch. I just don't like the Warriors enough to root for my mans.
I understand. Something that just random before like I talk about the Timberwolves a little bit more. It's something that like I just thought about, like something that'll happen with like art and like probably with like music and whatever, was like in like writing and whatever. It's like people will see something happen, right? They'll see like, I don't know, like for example the comic Watchmen, which is like a deconstruction of like superheroes and everything, and like it's super dark and gritty and whatever. And like people, like you'll see there'll be creators and people who, like see it and like, oh, that's cool, but like they won't understand why it was worth doing. Like they won't understand what made it work, so they just like copy it without giving much thought, and like then are kind of surprised that like they didn't get the same result. And like to some degree, I think with like Golden State, that's some of it, because it's kind of like, they just, because like of course the general interpretation, which isn't super wrong, is like they kind of just go around and jack threes, and it's like they're like, especially in that like kind of just go around and jack threes, and like they did kind of jack threes, but like they depending on what year you're picking from, they had 2 to 3 of the best shooters of all time, and in spite of like putting up a whole bunch of threes, they were they took more mid-range shots than almost anybody else in the league. So like I'm not saying that you shouldn't shoot more threes, but the lesson that like it's you have to like that adhering strictly to the analytics is the way to go, I think might not be the best take. Like but also um I kind of feel like I don't know, I'm looking at the Timberwolves depth chart right now, and part of me feels like they should be better, but like it occurs to me that a lot of these players are fairly young.
Yeah. I I think that's what it is wholeheartedly. And weirdly, their star players haven't been in a position to win. Like outside of D'Angelo Russell, who else on that roster has seen the playoffs?
Hasn't Ricky Rubio seen the playoffs?
Ricky Rubio seen the playoffs. I guess Cat saw the playoffs that one year when Jimmy Butler was there too, but like they ain't got a lot of playoff experience, and there's not a lot of winners on that team. Like there's not a lot of people who've been in like long-term situations where they just have gone far or like have many awards. It's like Cat, D'Angelo, and like players who would be role players. right?
I mean, yeah, like Anthony Edwards, like he should end up being pretty good, but
But
not.
that's not. I'm talking about today.
Oh today, yeah, nah,
Yeah.
you, yeah, nah, you're gonna have to wait on him. I forgot Jared Vanderbilt existed until I looked at this.
Everybody but like Texas Tech fans and people who watch Minnesota games forgot about that man because apparently they don't play him like that.
It says he's the starter though.
Since when?
On ESPN, it says he's the starter.
Okay. Maybe it's just the Timberwolves being the Timberwolves. And being a starter don't really mean nothing.
I mean, when it's the Timberwolves, it kind of don't, but you know.
All right. All right, Calvin, if you got something else you want to add, go ahead. But I think we about up out of here, man.
Okay, this is something I pulled up. Apparently, the Clippers have made it known that Lou Williams and Patrick Beverley are available.
Okay. I was just trying to figure out what the package that you would get for them. Like, I don't know if they would deal both of them together. I'm just trying to think of their trade value.
Dang.
Into where at that point. You hear me?
Okay, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it was an issue on my end.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking, like, I don't know what their combined value is very nice, but I don't know what their separate value is. Like, these aren't like, who do you trade to go up? Because I imagine you want a better guard. You don't want the equivalent or lesser than Patrick Beverley. That doesn't get you a lot, or Lou Williams for that matter.
You know what? They should trade for Kyle Lowry.
I'm here for it.
It's like I'm not on principle, but like I would understand if they. Well, correction, I'd be against it from a Toronto perspective, but from a just a basketball perspective, it might like it probably work. Like I don't know about the salaries though. Now that I think about it, but like that would move them up.
What is it? Kyle Lowry. I can't think of any other like starting point guards that you can kind of steal for those two guys.
Like, because it's like the issue you run into with it is that like the thing is that there's a certain level of player that like when you start asking for them, people start saying no off rip, especially if like they're already in successful situations. And the problem is like you would need a point. You need a point guard who is both better than those two dudes, and in a situation where his team is not already successful and is willing to part with him. For example, like because if you want to be technical, you can make that argument for Ja Morant. But Memphis is not giving up Ja Morant. That would be stupid. Like Conley, for example, would be an upgrade, but Conley's already in Utah and winning. And of course, like if they ask for Dame, they're gonna get laughed at for like it just be laughing on the other end for 30 minutes, and like okay, why'd you call for real? So they're like the point guards that they would need, unless they're trying to address some other issue, they're gonna have a hard time getting.
I'm gonna tell you all 30 teams starting point guard. And you just give me a yes or no if you think they could get that point guard with those two players.
All right.
John Wall.
Nah.
Markelle Fultz.
How's he doing this year?
Markelle Fultz actually tore his ACL like a couple weeks ago.
Dang.
But healthy Markel was doing pretty darn good.
Then I'm going to lean towards no.
Okay. Colin Sexton.
Oh, definitely not. Not at this point.
Terry Rozier.
You could probably get Terry Rozier. I'm not sure how much of an upgrade he is, though.
Okay.
And, like, you'd probably have to throw in draft picks or something to make it worth Charlotte's while.
Yeah. Terry Rozier actually looks really good this year, like, surprisingly. I guess he's kind of in the position where he can kind of just go score instead of actually be a point guard. Not bad. Not bad. Kobe White. Chicago Bulls.
No, it's like, here's the thing. I know who he plays for. I have no idea how he's doing. I haven't seen a game. I don't know who's on the roster for real, other than Zach LaVine. Like, do they still have Markkanen?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So Kobe White is nice. His rookie year he averaged 13. This year he's averaging 15.
What about his
15 and 5.
Okay. Yeah, they're probably not. They'd probably say no.
Yeah. Los Angeles Lakers. Dennis Schroeder.
No.
Ricky Rubio.
Ricky Rubio. Huh. I mean, they could probably get Rubio, but I don't think. I'm not sure he's that big of an upgrade. So definitely not if you're trying to package dudes together.
DeJounte Murray.
I'm gonna say no, mostly just because like I feel like one, the Spurs kind of value like having people there for extended period and like that kind of culture thing, and also because like why?
He's averaging 14, 7, and 5 this season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lonzo Ball.
Nah. Just no.
Derrick Rose.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think you could do it. I just don't know if you're going up.
Like that's kind of the thing. It's like I'm not sure if you're going up. Like in fairness, like I'm not sure. Like it doesn't really leave Detroit in a better position either, or like the Knicks if and when that ever happens.
It's Detroit. Ain't no leaving them in a better position. I don't care who you trade. It's Detroit.
Oh no, we're not talking about like clearly we're not talking about winning right now. We're talking about like, well, I mean, I guess it's like also like they'd probably try and trade for Rose straight up, and like if you're Detroit, that's kind of like if you're trying like straight, that's a no. Like I need draft picks. We're trying to not like we want to be good again.
Okay. I can tell by the way that you gave all that money to Jeremy Grant. I can tell that you really.
I said we want to. I didn't say we knew how.
All right. Next person, Malcolm Brogdon.
I thought Drew Holiday was there. Wait, hold up. Wait. Who Brogdon play for?
Pacers.
Hey, okay. I don't even. How's he doing?
He is averaging 21, 4, and 7.
Of course not. What? I know.
All right. I already know the answer for this one. You should definitely say yeah. John Morant.
No.
Okay. D'Angelo Russell.
Can he play defense?
No. That's why he plays for Minnesota. He a bucket.
Clippers, and I probably don't make that deal.
Yeah.
Like you just need to try.
All right. Next one, Spencer Dinwiddie. Remember, he has the torn ACL, but we're doing this experiment as if there is no torn ACL.
All right. Actually, it might be worth considering, because like if you have for example, I feel like a concern some folks have is just kind of like who's actually in charge. Like it's like I guess on like a player level and like not even so much who's taking the last shot, but like and of course like Paul George and like Kawhi Leonard are supposed to be the leaders, but Kawhi is super quiet. Nothing wrong with that. As someone who is quiet myself when like we're not doing this, but like it's you get like you need somebody like you need somebody who can both have folks respect and like be a vocal leader. And unless something changed and like it kind of might have because he's apparently been playing fairly well, Paul George is not that guy. But like Dinwiddie can be, and like he can help you a little offensively. I think defensively is but like it'll be okay. Like that might actually be even a better spot.
All right, De'Aaron Fox. It's like it'd be part of me's like it'd be interesting, like it'd be interesting to see him play with them. But one, he's still a young player with no like real postseason experience because he's wasted his career like in Sacramento, which isn't his fault, right? It's not his fault. It wasn't Cousins' fault. Like your front office is trash. But it's a thing, but also like, why would you trade him? He's good and he's young. Mm-hmm. All right, Goran Dragic, Miami Heat.
If you can do that one, you do that one. But like the Miami Heat are saying no.
Yeah. Kemba Walker.
Same basic thing. It's like if you were the Clippers and like they let you do that, you do it. But like the Celtics are saying no.
All right. Mike Conley Jr.
It's like, should they? Yes. Would it work? Again, no. I'm not from a would it work from a personnel. I'm talking about like could they actually no, they couldn't pull that off. Because like the thing is, it's like you're getting two guards that are both a fair bit worse than Conley. It's just and like y'all are attempting to be good and like compete for y'all like their ultimate goal is to take down the Lakers if we're being real, right?
They need scoring though. They need scoring though.
Yeah, but like I feel like they can get more scoring without. Wait, who needs scoring?
The Jazz. They always need scoring.
I guess, but like they're in a good spot right now.
They're always in a good spot right now to the playoffs. We're like, okay, Donovan Mitchell, I'm sorry that you have to score 60 for your team to win.
But answer me this though, right? Because of course I mentioned Conley's been having a good season, and playing really good basketball. But like if you're the Jazz though, how would basically cutting Mike Conley in half help you?
Okay, if you can get both. I say it helps you because Patrick Beverly or what's my man's name? I can't even think of my man's name right now. Lou Williams. Both of them are better than whoever your backup point guard is.
Yeah, but one of them has to play your starter.
Exactly. And which one do you want to go with? Do you want a scoring punch in your starting lineup, or do you want defense? If you want defense, you have Beverly start. You go play your defense. You go do what you need to do. And when we need a bucket, we'll go get the bucket.
It's just like, but like the basic thing with that though, if you're the Jazz, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like if I can have a dude starting who does what he does and what he does, all right, he does both of that, one person more or less, right? Again, more or less, and and like I can go and get somebody else to back him up. Why would I want to like have that in two separate? Like it's like you either have an offensive liability or a defensive one at all times.
Okay, I got you there, but I'm going to tell you who Mike Conley's backups are. The guys who are going to play point guard when he's not on the floor.
I feel like this is about to be wild, but go ahead.
Jordan Clarkson. That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is Donovan Mitchell. Not bad. Not a bad option. The next one is I'm going to butcher his name. My Oni.
Oh, him.
My bad. Me A-O Ni.
No. I know who you're talking about. He played at Hill.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to feel about that one. Like, it sounds like, based on what you're saying, that he probably actually gets some minutes here and there, given the clearly shallow backcourt rotation you just described.
All right. He plays 7 minutes a game, and he actually has. Yeah, he plays 7 minutes a game. So do that with you what you will. And Shaq Harrison is the other guard. And then they have Trent Forrest on a. That man played at. Shout out to you, Trent Forrest. Trent Forrest played at Florida State while we were going to FAM. And I was really excited about Trent Forrest because he's 6'4", 210 pounds, and has been since coming out of JUCO. And I don't remember that man playing. I don't. I think he had like a good senior year. But the other dude is Trent Forrest. That's 4 guards that I named. And none of them are better than Patrick Beverly on defense.
Uh-huh.
And none of them are better than Lou Will on offense. I get that you have to run your issues, but the biggest thing, like, Utah is always going to have a solid defense because they got Rudy Gobert. So I am okay with giving those minutes where I need some scoring to Lou Will, who can't guard anybody. But we also got that 7-foot dude who's just going to toss everybody's shot. So.
Oh, Azubuike's their third string center.
They got Azubuike listed at 6'8". That's disrespectful. Ain't no way that man's 6'8".
Wait, hold up. I want to see. ESPN still has him listed at 6'10", so I don't know. One of these can't be right. And I think it's whatever you're looking at.
But he was telling us at Kansas, like, this man's 7 foot the entire time. I guess we need to get back to the.
I mean, he might be when he puts shoes on.
Wow, come on. I don't know why they say anything about height without shoes. I only see players play without shoes when their shoes fall off. But let's get back to it. Trae Young. I can't believe you thought about this.
It's like my thing is like it's like I don't know why I hesitate. Like it's on the other, like it's a no from like from the Hawks. Like it's a not, like we've started getting into those ones where it's just like you're getting laughed at for 30 minutes on the phone when you ask this question. Right.
Calvin, you know your answer is supposed to be yes or no, right?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I've gone in more depth than I probably needed for any of this. All right, we'll speed it up. My bad.
No, you good, bro. Drew Holiday.
No.
Kyle Lowry.
No.
Ben Simmons.
Definitely not.
Jamal Murray.
Nah.
I can't believe you looked up for a second.
I was trying to think. I'm like, wait, is Murray I thought Murray was a 2 guard.
I think he plays point for Denver, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Kyrie.
No.
I'm disgusted with your thoughts right now.
That's okay. Be disgusted because they don't have any defense right now, and that's one of their major problems.
One thing that I have learned about the Nets, it is not an issue of them guarding the perimeter, because the best perimeter players are going to bust your ass regardless. It doesn't matter. At best, you go have KD or Harden go try to muscle up with them. They need it. They need somebody to protect the paint. That's their biggest issue. Like bringing in a better wing defender will do the same thing that it is doing for Portland right now. Portland got Robert Covington, who's supposed to be this great defender, and their defense sucks because he can't stop nobody at the rim. I gotta guard their best perimeter defender. I can't do both. Imagine Patrick Beverly trying to slide over and defend the rim. Come on, man.
Like they need defense. They don't. In fairness, like if they were to do this deal, it'd be for like Patrick Beverly and like draft picks because they currently have no future to speak of. And like if nothing else, it'll be a way for them to get a hold of like a big man that's worth something possibly. So you know, if they were to do it, it'd be like Patrick Beverly and picks or whatever. Like it improves your defense and like because like let's be real, if it's just KD and Harden, you've got enough offense. But all right, who's next?
I can't believe you, Chris Paul.
Nah.
Okay. Damian Lillard.
Nah.
All right, we in the top 3. You can give a little bit more information if you want to.
All right.
Russell Westbrook.
Ooh. It's like my first instinct wants to be like nah, but like understanding he's struggled a fair bit this season. For whatever reason. And like his game is kind of reliant on his athleticism, which like he's getting older, so he's starting to lose some of that. So actually, you know what? I think if you're the Clippers, I'm not sure if you do that deal. Just because like because like one of the things like you're gonna want whoever you like go and get, you're gonna want consistent performance, and like Westbrook has had some solid games since he's been with the Wizards now last week or so. He's had a couple decent games, but like to this point he's been looking kind of rough, and so like there's not any like there wouldn't be any certainty that he'd actually be an upgrade. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Luka Doncic.
No.
No explanation needed. All right, and some dude that plays for the Warriors, Steph Curry. I think you can make that trade.
Me too. I think you throw in, $2 and like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you got yourself a deal.
Make it almond butter. I'll do it 3 times.
But like, obviously, the answer for real is no.
You being nice.
Like, they wouldn't even laugh at you. They wouldn't even hang up. They just disconnect the line.
Yeah. I'd find a way to get them caught on temporary charges after playing me like that. You want to talk to me about what? I got you. Give me a second. Let me click over real quick. Adam Silver. Let me tell you about these hoes. But yeah, man, I think that is it.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to stop.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and sign out. Again, I am your host, Alan Pettigrew. The man standing in front of me is Calvin McGowan.
Once again, as always, it's, a pleasure doing this. If you, thank you everybody who stayed to listen through the whole thing. If, of course, can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you are joining us on YouTube, hit this like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. Actually, who would y'all get, if y'all were the Clippers? Like, who do y'all think y'all could move Beverly and Williams for that would improve the team?